heartaches and setbacks. Natural fact is, honey, that I can't pay my taxes. Oh, makes me wanna holler and throw up both my hands. Yes, it makes me wanna holler and throw up both my hands. Increasing, trigger happy police say, panic is spreading, God knows where we're heading. Oh, makes me wanna holler, they don't understand, makes me wanna holler, they don't understand. A boy is born in High Time, Mississippi,
surrounded by four walls that ain't so pretty.
We're doing Living for the City with Mon David.
His parents give him
Mon's new record
and affection
to keep him strong, moving in the right direction.
This record is called DNA.
Living just enough.
Just enough.
Just enough.
Oh, Joyce, I am on YouTube. I am on Facebook. Definitely on Facebook. So, not sure why you're not seeing.
His father works
I know I'm there.
some days for 14 hours.
Anyway, happy
You
birthday,
can
Mon
bet
David, who's
she
singing with me
barely
on this.
makes a dollar.
A lot of these songs are so
His mother
apropos
goes to scrub the floors for Manny.
And you best believe she hardly gets a penny.
Living just enough. Just enough
for the city. Sister's black,
but she
sure enough pretty. Her skirt is short,
Her skirt is
Lord,
short,
her
but
legs
Lord,
are sturdy.
her legs are sturdy. To walk to school, she's got to get up early.
Her clothes are old,
But never are they dirty. Living just enough.
just enough for the city.
For the city,
But the best thing is that poor
Her brother's smart.
He's got more sense than many. His patience long,
But soon he won't have any to find a job.
like a haystack needle. Where he lives,
You know they don't use colored people living just enough. Just
Just
enough
for the city.
for the city. Yeah, yeah.
Just enough, just enough. Just enough. Just
Well, thank you, Mon David, for your contributions on that record. You're making my life. Happy birthday. And happy birthday to my mom in heaven. She would have been I have to think about this. Hold on. She would have, I mean, she wouldn't have been alive, but she would have been 105 today. Yeah, born in 1919. That was a popular year. Yeah. So, and it's Veterans Day. They're playing, you know, I was watching a little TV while I had a little breakfast. They're playing things like Hiroshima, you know, the bombing of Hiroshima and stuff. Hi, Tanya. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Sorry, let me start fresh. I haven't had enough coffee yet, I think. Thanks, Joyce. Yeah, my scheduled person, Joe Domino, he lives in Central Time, and there was a confusion about the time. So we're gonna have to reschedule him again. He's really wonderful. If you see his name come up, we're gonna reschedule him down the line a little bit. But he has a podcast, and he's interviewed a lot of great jazz people. And I just did an interview with him on this record, this last record, um, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, and it was really fun. Um, yeah, it's fun being interviewed by good people who know stuff and who have a good attitude. And he's one of those guys. um, yeah, and next week, just for your information, I'm interviewing Lee Newman. Very interesting guy. He's an LA guy. He used to, well, it's a lot of interesting history. But first of all, his grandfather was Jimmy McHugh, who was one of the greatest composers of the Great American Songbook. He wrote "I'm in the Mood for Love." That was his famous song. He told me a great story about that because there was an old piano in his office. Even the chair had gone along with the piano, and when everybody lost money back in the 20s, he or 30s, 20s, 30s. My mind has blocked out when that was. Anyway, he was totally broke. He was walking down Riverside Avenue in New York. He bumped into George Gershwin, and George Gershwin was doing well, and he asked Jimmy how he was doing, and Jimmy said terrible, and he said, well, you shouldn't be doing terribly. What can I help you with? And he said, well, I could use a piano. And the first song he sat down and wrote on the piano was "I'm in the Mood for Love." Pretty cool story. But not only that, his mother's father was Eddie Cantor. I mean, come on, what a heritage. Eddie Cantor and Jimmy McHugh. Amazing. Not to mention that Lee I'm not sure he was a songwriter, but he was a singer in the 70s in Hollywood, and he even played, oh gosh, am I going to remember all these names? Well, Nilsson, who wrote The Point. I don't know if any of you guys remember The Point. It was a story, ended up to be a record and a movie, a cartoon movie about this little guy who was put down by his community because he didn't have a pointed head. So he went on this whole self-discovery journey. And of course he ended up, I'm not going to tell you the story because if you can see it, it's a really great story, but he ended up smelling sweet, And anyway, Lee played in the play that played, I'm not sure if it ended up in New York or just LA, he played the main character. Anyway, it's going to be a fun story. Lee's very interesting to speak with. So that'll be next Monday. So it was a hell of a week. I feel like surrealistic. I'm not going to rave because I'm not actually a raver. But I am going to talk a little bit about it because it is historical and it needs to be talked about. It's really easy to believe that you and your loved ones, when we share the same ideals, are the winning ideal, the ideal that rises to the top, that smells sweet, that we're working on saving the planet together. We're working on being better humans. And what happened in the election was really contrary to that. And I was contemplating, of course, like everybody, why I felt so bad. I posted something on my Facebook, just probably right under here. This guy speaking I don't actually know his name, but he's on TikTok and Instagram. But I found him on TikTok by following his moniker on the screen. But he spoke so well, and I just couldn't sleep last night because it was sitting in my universe, and it made me really sad. And I'm not the kind of person to sit around in sadness, and I'm not the kind of person to get on my high horse and yell about politics, mostly because I don't feel like I know enough about politics to really get righteous about it, I guess. Also, I feel like, what can I do in my life, who I am? What can I do besides vote, make a few phone calls, give money to certain causes? So what can I do? And what I can do is, be a kind person, have ethics in the forefront, be creative, make music, share music, hug people, smile at people. Yeah, so those are the things that I can do. And this gentleman talking, he said, if I had the words to say everything that I could say, I would have said what he said. And basically, he said he felt betrayed, and the things that he was brought up to believe that were good it was as if they were voted down. And it was as if people didn't see, they turned off the bad things about Trump because they want somebody who's just speaking honestly to them, or they're happy that the stock market went up, or maybe they don't love Kamala, or all of those things. But the things, the kind of the crucial things that make us who we are and who we live with every day, how we grow and how we honor things and ourselves and other people, those things were dismissed and spit on in the 24 hours. So yeah, I couldn't sleep. It was sad. It was really sad. So I'm sure I have friends who perhaps voted for Trump. I don't hate my friends, but I feel like I had a relationship that broke up, and that feeling, you're in this relationship, it's really great, and then time goes on and things are starting to go wrong, and then finally you end up breaking up, but you're shocked. It's like you didn't know the person. It's like, how could I marry that person? I don't even understand how I could marry that person. And the other thing that I was thinking about is, when I divorced my first husband, there were so many people who were crushed, even though my husband was not, how shall I say this in a non-terrible way? He wasn't a horrible person, but he really did not treat people well. He had an ego that was very beyond what he should have had. So it's not like people were treated so well that they were so enamored with him that they were crushed, that we broke up. It wasn't that. It was that they had this image about marriage that fed them, that fed their perspectives and working ideas on what marriage is. And when we broke up, it cracked those and it made them wrong for believing that. That is part of what I'm feeling. Now, yeah, I have to turn on my fan. I'll be right here, right here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. But anyway, so, yeah. What happened now is not about politics, but people being a self-destructive cult. Yeah. The last words I had with my dad before he died, he told me to shut up because I objected to what happened on January 6th. If you tell people the truth, they will not listen to you. I'm sorry about that, Mark. It's kind of a shitty memory to hold on to. I stand back a little bit from if you tell people the truth, they will not listen to you. I don't quite agree with that whole thing. But obviously there's half the people, or whatever percentage, half the people who will not listen, who actually see something totally different, and then the other half. And we all have relationships that happened in. You know, the person is kind of living on a different planet, right? They're living on a different planet. They see different things, and there's to get in there and help them to see something else is really next to impossible. I mean, this is, you know, a very minor way of comparison, but I believe everything you do in life reflects in everything you do in life. So when I teach, that's a good example. You know, teaching people, I never try and force my opinion. What I try and do is I have this image of getting behind their head and looking through their eyes and seeing how they're looking at the problem and introducing possibilities. I was reading a book that talked about the words acceptance and allowance. And it was interesting. He said that if you say the word accept and you think about that, how does that feel as opposed to allow? And it's interesting. For me, personally, accept is this kind of a downward motion. It's kind of a little, very subtly suppressing myself to accept someone or something. And allow is like more forward and open. So I thought that was interesting. But so yeah, so when I teach and somebody really is stuck, I really try and allow them their own point of view, and also through their eyes try and show them something that they can agree with, and then we can have a discussion. So I'm pretty sure that's how communication with everybody works. Yeah, Roland, you're right. People change, people grow and regress. Yeah, that's life, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm just overwhelmed with the knowledge that so many people thought this outcome to be more viable. Yeah. Yeah, I know. When I read that, my mind just like hurt. Yeah, I agree with you. I will say that this week had other things that were fabulous. Well, also horrible, like the fires. Oh, God, the fires. you know, they just never seem to end. And so many people are affected. And it's really terrible. My heart goes out to them. On the better side, let's look at the better side for a minute. Um, I saw a wonderful young singer that opened my heart up, and she had come to me with for a lesson, and she was a great singer, and had some subtle things that she wanted to work on. So I went to see her sing Friday night, and when I see a singer like that, um, I feel kind of thrilled and open. I feel an opening, and I feel love. There's so many positive things that I see, which, this is the power of music. It's the power absolutely of singers, good singers. It's and going to see something live, especially. But part of the reason why is because of who she is personally. Because a singer really can't hide themselves 100%. They're it's just coming out through their voice. And if they have done the work, they're committed to a quality, and they've looked at the quality and practiced the quality enough so that it's obvious. So who she was just beautiful. It's just clean, pure, you know. And so that was Friday night. I got a hit of that. Then Saturday it was the JEXA Awards, which is pretty fabulous. I should just show you the website. I'll show you the website real quick. JEXA Awards. Oh, look at that. I haven't seen this, but so the I'm gonna show you. And this is the reason why I'm because I'm there. They put up this picture, which is really cool. The JEXA Awards. Here's the gala. Oh, it's 20. No, that's not it, because it was they took away the picture. Yeah, let's see. Oh, this is Jerome Pittman. He's a doctor, and he's into jazz. He's a jazz singer. Yeah. So anyway, they took the original picture down. Here's Patty Austin right in the middle. She was the guest singer and awardee of the night. This was Saturday night. It was quite a lot of people there. I would say 200, maybe, something around that. And so me on the right, of course, Linda Smith on the left, and right in the middle here is Lynn Colbert Jones, who's from Chicago, but she was head of the entertainment area. All of the rest of these people are young students from ages 12 to 17, and they were award winners. And this girl in the front, really good. She's 12. She was amazing. Anyway, this group supports young jazz artists with things like studio stuff or teachers, that kind of thing. And Patty graciously offered to do a workshop before the event. So Thursday we had a workshop with Patty Austin. It was really great. So anyway, it's really nice to see their faces. That was great. And part of the reason, again, kind of going back to what we're talking about is it's community. I've lived here for 50 years. I came when I was 21, and you can imagine how many, from a consistent job of singing and being involved in music, you can imagine how many people you would meet in one city. So over 50 years. And so the community is very strong, and especially the singer community, which I can say I definitely contributed to that, and lots of love there, lots of support. There were, what JEXA does is they honor people who are contributing in a big way. I was one of the first award winners. Aviva Diamond was, and I'm trying to think of who else. Well, anyway, it was great. That was 3 years ago, and it's exponentially improved and encompassed more people. This year, a few people, Dave Moscow, who is a pianist who's supported people in this area for 60 years at least, and continues to do that. Michael Saucier, bass player, who's constantly supporting, and Dwight Tribble. That was my honor to give him his award. I love Dwight Tribble. He's an amazing human being, spiritually led, free person, free singer, great singer. He also a number of years ago took over running the World Stage in LA, which was originally a venue started by Billy Higgins, the great drummer. And so yeah, Dwight Tribble. Anyway, that was Saturday night. It was great. We had a jam session at the end. A lot of good singers got up, and then moved on to Sunday, yesterday. There were a lot of things happening Sunday. The two things that I went to were a walkthrough of the venue, the Blue Whale. The Blue Whale was started by my ex-student, June Lee, a Korean young man who came here to study at Musicians Institute, and they referred him to me. I had taught there, and then I didn't teach there, but I was still on their roster. So when June showed up, he already had this very strong experience with jazz, and so it was a joy to be his teacher, and eventually I just became his jazz mom. Anyway, one day 15 years ago, he called me up and he said, "Kath, I'm opening a club." And I was totally surprised. It turned out to be the Blue Whale, which was internationally known. It lasted 10 years. The only reason it stopped was because of the pandemic. And but it was a great space. Excuse me, gotta turn off the fan now. It was a great space, more leaning towards modern jazz. June has great taste, and he's a really open, warm-hearted person and appreciates everything and everybody. And so it was great. The blue whale was revered, loved. A lot of us went every week, several times a week. And yeah, it was great. Anyway, when it closed, probably about, well, during the pandemic, it didn't happen after that. So June was in Korea for a while, and he just came back. He got space in Atwater Village, and I'll show you a little bit of a video, but he got a space there, and there was a walkthrough, yeah, last night, and they you walk in, it's kind of like a sound stage. It's really large, very high ceilings. There's, you walk in this big space, and then there's the it's not done yet. It's going to be done in August. So this is just the space. The first space is a restaurant and bar. Second space is a room for classical and world music. Third space is the jazz space. I can't tell you the energy when I walked in. It was totally crowded. It was electric. Roland, you were there. It was electric. I personally felt like my cells were I don't know, doing something. I was somewhere between hysteria and weeping. I didn't go into either, but that's where I was it was amazing. Couldn't turn around without seeing somebody you knew. Again, another community. And this is the kind of community and venue that some people would say would never work. And it did work before, and it's going to work again. It's actually going to change LA. And everybody was thrilled, excited. June personally knew most of the people in there. And there was some music going on. It was really nice, incredible. You could really see that the music, the sound was separated from the rooms. You didn't hear an overbleed, and just everybody was drooling and happy and waiting. They're waiting for August, So I'm really proud of June. He really is a visionary, and he's really channeling. And he's humble, very humble. And anyway, these are the kind of things that fill you back up after something like the election happened and all the loss that we felt. These are important things. Community, getting out, making things happen, being creative. I believe, because of talking to people, that a lot of people will go into political action now too, and which is fabulous. But political action is not the only action that you can live on. You have to have this other kind of creative, love-filled action that's healing. You have to have it. I want you guys to go out and get that. Okay, so Roland, yeah, I feel like I've taken this very important test for which I prepared so much and I failed. Yeah, wow, yes. And Mark, you said something else. Oh yeah, yeah. You said, wait, you said, talked about a cult. I thought about that too. Yeah, I thought about that too. I talked a lot about cults in my earlier years, and the word cult, I mean, you could put a lot of different groups into that terminology. destructive cult is, self-destructive cult, all of those things. That's what you have to watch out for. Let's hear just a little bit of music. I think I'll play some more from my own CD. Let's see. Here's Russians. This is a mixture of a Sting tune and a Cathy Segal-Garcia tune. In Europe and America, there's a growing feeling of hysteria, conditioned to respond to all the threats and the rhetorical speeches of the Soviets. Mr. Putin says we will bury you. I don't subscribe to you. It's such an ignorant thing to do. If the Russians love their children too. This my Russia, this my soul, land that knows no rest. This my Russia, carry me home. This where I lay my head. How can I save my little boy from Oppenheimer's deadly toy? There is no monopoly on common sense on either side of the political fence. We share the same biology, regardless of ideology. Believe me when I say to you, I hope the Russians love their children too. This my Russia, this my soul, land that knows no rest. This my Russia, carry me home. This where I lay my head. There is no historical precedent to put the words in the mouth of the president. There's no such thing as a winnable war. It's a lie we don't believe anymore. Mr. Biden says we will protect you. I don't subscribe to this point of view, but what might save us, me and you, is if the Russians love their children too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you think so, Joy? The song's innocent compared with the current situation. I've often thought about, in another reality, we're living on a different planet and the government is good and it uses artists to reflect what's going on with the people living so that they can tell what to do, how to help us all. Thanks, Bev. Hi, honey. Yeah, the blue whale, really great. It's going to be fabulous. So, this week, if you're in LA, there's a lot going on, a lot of great stuff going on. Thursday, November 14th, our friend Mon David, another amazing human being, and his whole family. They're I don't know. To me, I tend to wax poetic sometimes, but to me, he and his family are like a gift from God. They're really beautiful. I really hold them in high esteem. And Mon, I showed you this. This is his recent record, DNA Continuum. You can't quite see that, but let's see. This is a picture by Aviva Diamond, L. Aviva Diamond. Isn't that pretty? She's got this really great eye for nature, and really beautiful. Here's Mon. And yeah, this cover is really a beautiful cover. It's designed by, I like to say, a blue whale guy. His name is Keo Griffith, and he did a lot of covers for the blue whale people. I mean, artists who would hang out at the blue whale. So yeah, he's really good. So anyway, Thursday, Mon and pianist Josh Nelson and guitarist Larry Coons are going to be at Catalina's Jazz Club in Hollywood for the CD release party. I'm going to be there. And Saturday, November 16th at Cal State LA is the Kingdom Choir, which is a fantastic group. Again, this is going to make me feel better, and I know a lot of people feel better. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. And then Sunday the 17th at Hotel Cafe in Hollywood, this guy has started to make these jazz events that are 5 groups in the evening, so everybody has their own set, and it's the top players in LA. And fabulous. It's kind of like a little tiny festival, happening one evening, and it's not expensive. So going to that, and again, being thrilled. I'm telling you, this makes me feel so better. My husband doesn't go out with me a lot because, first of all, incredibly, he's not a big jazz fan. He's a music fan, but jazz was not his forte. But he's a supporter, and he sees what feeds me, so he always supports me. And if that means me going out a few nights a week to go hear jazz, he's supporting me, which is great. Hey, Wilbur Walker, hello. Yes, I think about that too. I'm very blue and concerned about the world my grandson will inherit. Keep the positive energy going. You know what? I feel the same. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same, especially those people who have children and grandchildren. I have 4 grandchildren, and maybe my husband and I won't suffer too much of the consequences, but I do wonder what Trump is going to put into effect. The other thing I worry about, I'm just going to say it, is the vice president becoming president after Trump. I'm worried about that. And I want to start early to, I don't know. I really don't know. Change people's minds, make the Democrats better. I'm not sure. That's why I am part of a few different groups. One group is called Force Multiplier, which is a really interesting group. They started when Trump won the first time, and they have a lot of people researching. And so if you have $100 you want to give and you don't know where to give it, Force Multiplier has all these different possibilities, and you can just choose where you want to put your money. It's really good. That's just one group. There's another group, mobilize something. Anyway, there's a bunch of groups that we can join, and you know, I won't say we should, blah blah blah. I'm joining some groups. I hope that a lot of people will join groups and get active so that we can start now. There's another thing that my husband and I were discussing, this Project 2025. We read it. I don't know if you guys read it. It's really interesting. Basically what it is, it's a handbook for conservatives in government. Kind of lays out what it would like to be the rules of how conservatives act. And it's not like you can't pass the Project 2025, but you can accept that it's okay to work, and but then it still boils down to each idea and the people behind the ideas, and you can still fight the ideas. But I think it's kind of brilliant that the Republicans made this, and I really would like to see the Democrats make one. I really would love to see that, instead of the Democrats just kind of yelling and complaining about 2025, the Project 2025. I would like to see the Democrats come up with something like this. It has some real clear ideas on what they think, how they think you should act and talk to the media and portray yourself. I'm not particularly for it, and I'm not particularly against it. It's just some of the ideas worry me because of where they would lead. But as I say, I would like to see the Democrats do something like that. Come on, do it. Get into some real sane actions that we all can go, yeah, I'm Democratic, So anyway, what'd you say, Joyce? Trump is appointing Elise Stefanik as ambassador to the UN. She's the one who tried to force female university presidents to resign, with success, unfortunately. I have to look into that. I don't know. I don't know her history, really. And as I said before, I hate to get on my soapbox without really knowing a lot, which I don't know a lot. And then, Mark, I agree with you. The most important thing you have to worry about is Project 2025 being implemented. Yeah, so we have to keep going. We have to keep making music. We have to keep being kind to people, getting conversations with people, love people, allow people to go through whatever they have to go through, teach our children as best as we can, smother the world with creativity and goodness, you know what I mean? Hey, Will, you know, I'm going to try and find your music on here because, why? Because last night at the Blue Whale, I ran into Ross Guerin, the guy who played on your record, played harmonica on your record. Do you remember that? So let's see. Will Walker. Where are you, Will Walker? Oh, this looks like you. Oh, I know what I'd like to play from your record. I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. And this featured a pedal steel player whose name I can't remember, but he's really well known and liked. But this record is called Will Walker, Nola's Gumbo Pot.
Hear that lonesome whippoorwill. He sounds too blue to fly. That means he's lost.
Oh, aha, sorry. Maybe I can get it on Spotify. Will Walker, Gumbo. Will, Gumbo. Here we go. Okay. Oh, actually, now that I see all of them, that was great, but also King of the Road was great. I love this one. My friend Will Walker.
Trailers for sailor rent, rooms to let, 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. Ain't got no cigarettes. 2 hours pushing a broom buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. Third boxcar, midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. All worn out, clothes and shoes. I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies that I found
short but not too big around. I'm a man of means, by no means king of the road. I know every engineer on every train, and all their children, and all of their names, and every handout in every town, and every lock that ain't locked when no one's around. Trailers for sailor rent, rooms to let, 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pet. Ain't got no cigarette.
It's great. Oh, sorry, I didn't have my mic. You guys could hear me though. Anyway, just as a show a little bit of what's on this record, it's a really great record.
Get back, Satan.
He's singing that.
Don't you bother me.
And then
When me, baby. No, when me, baby.
so a lot of groovy stuff. He's from New Orleans, you know. And yeah, well, isn't that a beautiful version of King of the Road? Yeah, we stumbled on that treatment. And then don't get around much anymore. And then yeah, so
He crowded the floor. Couldn't bear it without you. Don't get around much anymore.
and then like Dancing Cheek to Cheek with Lisa Steele, featuring Lisa Steele too.
And I seem to find
Let's see.
Oh, heaven,
Yeah.
I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak, and I seem to find the happiness I seek
Yeah.
when we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek.
Yeah. This was a really
out of
great
the night that
project.
covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods there may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, yet unbowed. Beyond the space of wrath and tears looms but the horrors of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds me and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate or how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel
You really should put
like
this
a
out again right
mother's
now.
child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel
Anyway, that's that one. And then Oh, it looks like Cathy Segal-Garcia joined him on this one. I really can't stay.
Kathy, it's cold
You
outside.
know I gotta go away.
Kathy, it's cold out there.
This evening has
Been
been
hoping that you drop
so
in.
very nice.
I'll hold your hand, step just like
My
I.
mother will start to worry.
Beautiful, what's your hurry?
My daddy will be pacing the floor.
Listen to that fireplace
So will
roar.
I better scurry?
Beautiful, please don't hurry.
Or maybe just a little drink more. The neighbors might think,
Hey, it's hold up there.
say, well, what's in this drink?
No cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew
Your
how
eyes look like starlight
to
now.
break this spell.
I'll take your hand, your hair.
I ought to say no, no, no,
Move it
sir.
a little closer.
At least I'm gonna say that I
What's this
tried.
is a hurt?
You know I really can't stay.
Baby, don't hold out.
Baby, it's cold outside. Oh, that should come out again. Yeah, that is so cute. Will Walker, I don't know if you're still on here. I bet he just made that comment. And yeah, I'm just going to tell him you should put out Motherless Child right now. Right now. Yeah. Yep. I think so. We are the only captain of our total being. It's true. So Beverly Church Hogan, coming on 90 years old, and a timeless person, timeless individual, beautiful singer, beautiful person. Talk about challenges. This year has had major challenges. Just a mention of what the initial challenge is, but it spreads. Their house was crushed by rocks and mud in the rains this year, and it's just been horrible to deal with, horrible. They were up against the Santa Monica Conservancy, and government and insurance and all that stuff really has been a big problem. Can you imagine going through it, when you're 50 years old or 70 years old and she's 90? So it's like pretty exhausting. But yet she is a beautiful soul, and she affords to bring joy and love to people and have a positive viewpoint. And this is what I was talking about before. This is what we can do. We can touch people, we can make ripples, and be a member of communities and support people. Ripples, ripples, ripples. That's what we can do. Absolutely. Everybody can do that, no matter how rich or poor you are, no matter how willing you are to knock on doors or not, you still can cause ripples. So let's cause good ripples. Beverly has a show coming up, her kind of annual show, birthday show, and that is Sunday, December 8th at Catalina's. So, yeah, can't wait. It's going to be beautiful. Great show. So what else, guys? What else can we talk about? I might not stay on for 2 hours today. Wonder if I can play you any more music that would be applicable. I'm sure I have something, because I do record things that reflect on life and hope, because I want people, personally, I want people to be able to witness. I always have felt, for many, many years, I felt this. I realized from my own trials and tribulations that any problem can be solved if you can confront it and take responsibility for it, take full responsibility for it. The word responsible, you guys tell me what your experience is with the word responsible. My experience was, first, my mother used that word to manipulate me. No offense to my mother, whose birthday is today. Happy birthday, Mom. R.I.P. But she was a good manipulator, and she really worked at that. And so one way she tried, because she saw me reflecting my father. I think really what I was doing was I was just an artist, and kind of an artist personality, and she was afraid that I was going to turn out like my father, who was kind of responsible, but on the other side did really screwed up things. This actually is why I really know what a liar is, speaking about, referring back to Trump. My father was a liar, and definitely pathological liar. And like you see it's sunlight outside, he would say that it's nighttime. That kind of a liar. Very obvious, very, very obvious stuff. And that's how I know what a liar is. But so let's see, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the word responsibility. So my mother used that word with a negative connotation, or shame connotation. And shame didn't really work with me very well. Why? I don't know. I mean, it's not that I haven't been ashamed of my actions in the past, but not how she was trying to use it to manipulate me. So as I grew, that was my feeling of the word responsibility. When I was in my 20s, I think it was my late 20s, I had a cognition, a very big cognition, that the word responsibility, it was not somebody else's idea of responsibility for me. It was my idea, my feeling of responsibility. So yeah, so that was one of those life-shifting cognitions that I had. That was great to have. And one of those life lessons. It would be really great sometime, right, to see what people's life lessons were. I mean, I ask people on this show about that, but it would be great to make a book of it, or a show of it. Wouldn't it be great? Anyway, so from that point on, I also, some of you know this already because I've talked about this, but from when I was in my 20s, I really started believing that I was creating my own reality. And that went through a few different states of mind. I went very deep in, which was literally that everything I know about every person, everything is all my own creation and doesn't exist outside of my own creation. So there was that, which some people believe, and then I lightened up a little. It was like, okay, if you and I have a relationship, your reality has created me in your reality, So I was willing to let go of that part. It's not all my reality, but This is actually a lot of why probably I can go on in climates like this, these social climates, which could be very scary. You could lean into the so scared, I just can't move, I'm so depressed, you know, into those moods. I think one thing that really saves me from that is this idea that I create my own reality. So what has happened is part of my creation. Um, I'd have to think more about that. In what way did I create this political system that shifted that up? So was it kind of a rolling creation that I didn't quite create, or was it actually something that I really created? If it was something that I created and it's in my reality, what is the lesson? Because all creations are for learning. Some people say all learning is to lead you to yourself, to a higher consciousness. So I like that. That rings true for me. And so when I look at negative things in my life, I try and view them like that so that I personally can lift myself out of it. Anyway, that's my feeling about responsibility. One other thing that I want to say is that I've shared this too on which some of you have heard, but I read this, one of the books I read said that all emotion stems out of only two emotions, one or the other, love or fear. Wow, that blew my mind. That rang so true. Love or fear. So many times when I'm struggling with something, I will stop and consider that. And of course, this whole political thing is definitely coming out of fear, right? Not out of love. So I have to really work on stirring up the love side. It's very interesting to contemplate, isn't it? Yeah, being scared paralyzes you, right? So what about you guys? What's your experience with the interpretation of responsibility for you? Anybody have a comment on that? Yeah, thanks, Joyce. It's fun to speak. I wasn't sure I wanted to talk about politics, but I didn't feel like I could not talk about politics right now because it's important. It's important to talk about it. Oh, I don't think I in my whole weekend discussion that I opened the show with, that this whole weekend was about community. I don't think I finished that Sunday evening after the Blue Whale. I went to the neighborhood Unitarian church to join the avant-garde musician community. There is this continuing show that's been going on. I read on their site that it's been going on 40 years. I thought it was 20 years. It must have been 20 years at the same place in Eagle Rock. But anyway, this very creative artist named Will Salmon and Alex Klein, one of the Klein brothers, who, if you're a musician, you know about them. But let's see, his brother is Nils Klein, Nels Klein, something like that. Nils. And he's a guitar player, and he's a very avant-garde and other types of music guitarist. pretty leading and well known. And Alex is a fantastic percussionist, well known as well. So Alex and Will, I think they created the Open Gate Theater in Eagle Rock for 20 years. It was the first Sunday of every month. And they would have two groups play. I had played there before. I know I played there with Fish to Birds, my 6-piece improv vocal group. And it was wonderful. You really got to see some unusual music. And I had Will on the show, which was really interesting. You can see it in the archives. Will Salmon. And he was very creative. He was an artist, he was a musician, a singer, theater, actor, and he passed away this year. So this was a memorial for him with a whole bunch of avant-garde musicians in the city. You know, you might go all your life in the city and never bump into the avant-garde community. Talk about jazz people being under the wire. Avant-garde is even more. And one person who's actually working to pull it out of being under the wire is Rocco Samazi, who he produces the Angel City Jazz Festival, which has been going 20 years. It's hard to believe. Anyway, it just finished its like week-long bunch of festivals and really great. And it taps into the avant-garde community. Rocco originally was in the Vibratos location with Rocco's, and which was a beautiful restaurant, this really nice bar area where Ted Green and I actually played, and we recorded kind of a homemade video. And some of you have probably seen that. Anyway, Rocco, at that time, his place was the only place in LA that had modern jazz happening. When I say modern, I mean kind of progressive, not rock, just more modern rather than the old straight ahead kind of style. Then Vibrato bought the building, changed it, and Rocco actually started helping June Lee with the Blue Whale. At some point he moved up to San Francisco. His wife is a avant-garde musician, and he's a producer, you know, and now he's involved with the Blue Whale again. I saw him yesterday at the Blue Whale walkthrough. So let's see. Yeah, so Sunday night after the Blue Whale, I went over to Pasadena to see this memorial, and it was fantastic. Each set had about 4 different groups. They were, you know, avant-garde means different things. Vinnie Golia is kind of my hero in avant-garde, and he's been doing it for years and years. So, but I've learned by watching him and listening to him, which reminds me I have to go listen to something on Bandcamp. He was described. Okay, so what he used to do, which was fabulous, was he'd get an orchestra together, and then he would have a map of a song, but not a real true chart. So the map would say bass players play in B, you know, that kind of thing. So this is how avant-garde players actually work. As a matter of fact, I can show you a little bit. Let's see if I have it here. Really interesting. I can show you a little bit of what happened. Yeah, I can. And so you can see what it's kind of like. So the leader, he's a very talented bass player, and he's also now along with Garth Powell, who's he's a sound engineer, very well known for that, and he's also an incredible percussionist. So Garth and Ren are running Open Gate Theater now. And so if you're interested in music like that, every month they have performances, and you should get on their mailing list, Open Gate Theater. But anyway, this was one of the things that was happening. This is improvisational. However, Ren is standing at the front and he's holding up these signs that say things like long note, or, they say things like that. That's Vinny Golia on the right with the white hair. He's getting a kick out of the dancer. This girl on the left, the singers were both great, but this woman in the orange skirt had the most magnificent voice, soprano voice. So anyway, that's some of what was happening. There was more of that, but let's see. Let's see. She was speaking, and then. Yeah, she was whispering. I'd like to show you where she's singing, but I don't think she did much of it on this particular cut. Anyway, I don't know if you could see, but there's a palatable, feeling when these musicians start. They use a lot of space. They're listening a lot and contributing. It's really kind of fascinating to think of how these people work. Do they just be themselves? Do they listen and be themselves? Do they respond to someone? It's pretty fascinating. I think there's one other thing that I'd like to show you. I think I can show you a little bit. Is this? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of the blue whale. Okay, let's see. Okay, Dan, this is so exciting. This is new Blue Whale space. This is one room where there will be classical and world music. So we're walking through, you can't believe, this is like a huge kind of industrial space. This is all the Blue Whale. And
That's Rocco on the right. Hi,
this
Rocco.
is where the jazz will be. Unbelievable. This is so mind-blowingly exciting. Unbelievable, Dan. I mean, people are super excited.
And let me see. Here's Daniel. Daniel playing. I want to. Yeah. Is this the? Yeah. So this is what we were listening to for a little bit of the time. It was really beautiful. That's the jazz room. Look how big it is. Yeah. Anyway, it was really beautiful. It was really great. Oh, thanks, Mark. That's nice. Fear is the ultimate enemy. It surely is. Nils Klein. Yes, thank you, Joyce. Nils Klein. So, anyway, well, maybe I should show you JEXA too. I was talking to you about JEXA, and just as a yeah, it was let's see. Here we go again. Just JEXA, which I was telling you on Saturday night. This is yeah, this is Linda Smith, who's a part of the board of JEXA. Lynn Colbert Jones came from Chicago, and she was running the entertainment. Here's Patty Austin. Here's me. This was at the workshop that Patty did. Here was the awards. It was at the Biltmore Millennium Hotel downtown. It's really fabulous. You know, few friendly faces. It was great. Yep, that's my community. Here's Maya Prue, John Prue's daughter. Anyway, so I guess it's interesting that you guys did not make comments on the word responsibility. Interesting. Maybe that's just not in your experience so much, you know, that you've thought about it. You know, when I look back at the major realizations in my life, I like reminding myself of those. They bring it back home again, how those feelings feel. It's funny, I couldn't sleep last night. I think I told you guys, because I watched that man's video of I posted it. It's probably right underneath this, of how affected he was by the election. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. It made me very sad, and it was kind of overwhelming, and I couldn't go to sleep. So I got up and I was reading this book, and he was talking about, let's see, how to bypass the ego
the mind, the personality, and go into you, your true nature. And it's an interesting book. I've really been going down this road lately, listening to gurus on YouTube and reading books along this line regarding not I am Cathy, not I am a woman, not I am a Democrat, not I am married, I have a house, nothing like that. It's just I. And it's challenging, and I know a lot of people have the good ability to meditate and to arrive in that spot, and so a lot of people working on it. As a matter of fact, in reality, most of the philosophical and spiritual people agree that we have moved out of the information age and into an awareness age, a consciousness rising age, which is interesting. And it's interesting when I view what happened in the election kind of from that platform, it makes me feel better. And I've learned that truth feels good. When I feel that feeling, I know I've hit on the truth. This is another realization that I've had over the years, a big realization. Lies feel bad. If you're in a fight with somebody and you can't get out of it, there are lies sitting there. So even if the truth is not great, positive and great, truth always feels better. It feels lighter. And so in this book, he was talking about remembering how you felt in different situations when you feel good, when you've been in love, when you've smiled at your grandchild, when you've sung a beautiful song, all these moments of beauty and love, and bring yourself back to that. And that is the true you. Right? Which is great. It's literally a way to get there. It's about being present too. Present in the moment. The past is the past. It's about now, and future is nice to kind of project towards, but it's really about right now and the essence of play. Beverly White, yeah, we must stop him from stealing our happiness because it has been done. Right. He won because America voted. We must not give him an ounce of brain or emotional space. True. You know what else I think about, Bev? What else I think about is, uh-oh. I think it went out of my head. Wow, it came up and I was like, yeah, and then it left. Wait, can I remember? You said, oh, yes, I do remember. I think I've talked about this too, maybe online once or twice, but there was a period of time when I learned and I experienced that having affinity for someone or something changes the mold. It's like you see things melt away. When you have affinity, true affinity for something or someone, then the shit kind of goes away. And it changes in your perspective, right? And that's somehow related to what I was talking about before, my reality, and also, waves going out, ripples. But I tried it once on the freeway. I was really upset by a driver. They were being a real a-hole. And so, so it's not that I wanted to resist or put out that they should change. What I did was I admired them for how good they were being an a-hole. And I just said, wow, you do that so well. It's amazing. And you know what? They changed their driving immediately. And I felt good. That happened like within 5 seconds. So I was really impressed with that. And I've been toying with that a little bit, admiring Trump for being such a narcissist, psychopathic liar, all those things that he is. I've been trying to say, wow, you do that really well. I know some people are flowing love to him, to change that in the universe as well. So I don't think we have to, I must admit, I'm not watching the news. I can't watch anything with him in it. I don't want to. Even some very, very pro-democratic friends of mine told me that last night. They're just not watching the news. They can't do it. Saeed, I think you're going to have to send a translation in English if you want to talk to us, because I don't have time to get the translation. It looks like you're talking about jazz, which is great, but I'm not sure what you're saying. That shuts down our, why give him that gift? Yeah. So anyway, we're coming to the end of a 2-hour time, and I might play a little bit more music to cool us out. I like this one. This is kind of this is a song I wrote, and this is off my Social Anthems Volume 1 record. And this was a good example because this was one time where I shamed myself. I mistakenly acted incorrectly in a situation with a friend, and I ruined the friendship. And I had to go deal with her. I was on a drive, which is how this song started. And so this is exactly what I mean about confronting and witnessing and confronting the reality, and then knowing that you can change it. So there's hope in there too, and that's what I like to sing about. Exactly what I just described. So this is from my Social Anthems Volume 1, and this is my song called What Are We Gonna Do? What are we gonna do when we have got to decide which way to turn, which way to learn? And what are we gonna do when we have got to decide which way to go? How do we know? How are we gonna lift ourselves in spirit and sight and justify this human race? How do we recognize what's wrong and make it go right, and let our hearts illuminate our loving? How are we gonna know which battle has to be fought
fought and when to fight. When is it right? How are we gonna know which bridge has got to be burned? Which road to take, which road to make? If life starts to decline and throws us a curve and makes us go blind, I got to find the right door to open our hearts and help us stay kind. How are we gonna find the book that's got to be read? Where does it lay? What does it say? How are we gonna know which key has got to be turned? How do we find what's in our mind? How are we gonna know which thought has got to be made to justify this human race? And how do we know our head and hearts connected to faith? So we let our hearts illuminate our love and oh, what are we gonna do? Oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Which way to go? How will we know? I'll make it go right. When to find we gonna do? Where does it lay? Where does it say? How are we gonna find it? How are we gonna find it? How are we gonna know? How are we gonna know? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna know? 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 What are we gonna do? Help us stay. Help us stay. Yeah. I just got hit by the muse. I think I'm gonna put that out. I'm gonna work on making a, like a music video right now. I think that song is helpful right now. Thanks, Bev. Yeah, that's right. And Joey, hi. Me too. I smile a billion times when I see you. Thanks, Joey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was actually a very nice show. I wasn't sure I was gonna be able to sit here and talk for 2 hours, but this was great. Sorry about my guest, Joe Domino. So yeah, there was some time misunderstandings because he's on the Central Coast, but he's a really interesting guy, great interviewer himself. He has a podcast called Neon Jazz, and I've been on there several times, and
He's really fun to talk to. So I'll reschedule him. So look for that. Thanks for being here, you guys, and my heart goes out to all of you. Keep creating, keep being kind. Do what you do. You know, if you are crushed by what happened, there's the probability that you do beautiful things. So do that and join together with your community. Go out, get out of the house, go on walks, get out of limited space, go hear music, live music, you know, go to groups, go get into your community and share the love. And we all will move through all of this. Let's get active. Let's just start getting active about changing over, you know, a future with the vice president becoming president at some point. Let's change that possibility totally. So we might as well start now, right? We have 4 years to work on that. Should be good timing. All right. And next week, Lee Newman, grandson of Jimmy McHugh, the composer of I'm in the Mood for Love, and great-grandson of Eddie Cantor. By the way, Eddie Cantor was one of the writers of the music Looney Tunes. And Lee told me he gets a little bit of money every day from that, from it playing somewhere in the world. Yeah, that should be an interesting conversation. Okay, you guys, should I tell you one more thing? If you're in California and I'm not gigging all that much right now, but Thursday, November 21st, which is next week, I'll be at a happy hour gig in Pasadena at a place called The George from 5 to 7. There's no cover. It's really a nice hang. And guitarist Steve Cotter will be with me, which I'm really looking forward to. I love Steve Cotter, and he's a wonderful player. We haven't played together in a long time, so I'm looking forward to that. 5 to 7, The George in Pasadena. No cover. There's food and alcohol to be had. And this week, Thursday, November 14th, Mon David at Catalina's with Josh Nelson and Larry Koontz as a CD release party. I'll be there. All righty. Goodbye, everybody.